I'm Dr. Terry Simpson. I was asked recently to reflect on a story that I had published about a patient of mine whose name was John. John was a man who was born into a Seventh-day Adventist family and was a vegetarian all of his life. When he got a little older, he rebelled against his family. He kind of became a little bit of a radical, but he remained vegetarian. In fact, he became a full-on-set vegan. He didn't drink alcohol. He didn't smoke. Took extraordinarily good care of himself. And then John came down with pancreatitis, and his first view of him wasn't good. There was a big mass in his pancreas, and ultimately the diagnosis was pancreatic cancer. I was asked to see him to do what was called a Whipple operation, where we remove the offending part of the pancreas. Sadly, the pathology came back that there was a node that was positive for pancreatic cancer, which came back later. And the margins of his, one of the margins we had showed pancreatic cancer right up to it. I said, you know what? I should have just been eating bacon. I probably stepped over my bounds, but I found one of our local meat markets that put together a little bacon bouquet of flowers, of some dried bacon, and sent it to him. The next day I go in and he's eating the bacon. He was able to eat food at this point. The surgery had gone well. I said, John, what are you doing? I said, that's bacon. Me, and he smiled. I said, you know, Doc, this is pretty good stuff. I can't believe that the world has kept this from me. John did very well after surgery. He was fit, he was trim, but he called me back 6 months later. He was still alive. Several times we became good friends over the course of time. I remember the first time John went to a steak restaurant. He called me up and says, Doc, I got this reservation at XYZ steak restaurant. Why don't you come join me? And my response was, you know, John, that's not the best steak restaurant in town. And he said, what's the best one? I told him what my opinion was. Next, he called me back and said, got reservations there. Come, join me. So we did. We had a lovely steak. He was feeling well. At 6 months, we did scans on him. No evidence of cancer. No evidence of cancer coming back. All of his tumor markers were normal. You seem to be eating meats. What's going on? He says, I eat all sorts of meat. Well, year after year, I would hear from John. He would send me postcards, usually of some meat product saying, I'm eating it, I'm still alive. 10 years later, John was still alive. He had beaten all of the odds. He had beaten the odds for pancreatic cancer. He shouldn't be by any rights alive. Oh, I have to tell you one more thing. John refused chemotherapy and radiation therapy against my advice and judgment. 10 years later, John was alive. And I remember sitting down with him and talking to him and said, you don't really believe that bacon cured your cancer, do you? And he says, no, I really don't. He says, I think I was just lucky. He said, but I was pretty upset because I was pretty much led to believe that being a vegetarian would have turned off all those cancer genes and protected me against it. I said, well, it doesn't. Bottom line is, as you know, vegetables don't turn off genes. Your body can't tell if your protein came from an animal or a vegetable. You just got lucky. He said, yeah, I just got lucky. But he likes to tell everybody that.
But how important is that as a therapy?
All our patients choose whatever their diet, whether they're meat eaters or vegetarians. The amount varies. Our vegetarian patients always need more. The purpose of juice is you're concentrating all the vitamins, minerals, trace elements, and enzymes in complete raw form. Now, it's true when you juice, you're getting rid of the fiber. Fiber is an important nutrient, you know, but on the other hand, the Eskimos never ate fiber, and they never had constipation either. It depends on who you are, but yeah, fiber can be a useful nutrient. But the purpose of juicing is you're concentrating all the nutrients, and without the fiber, it's like pre-digested food. And a lot of our advanced cancer patients don't have a lot of extra energy, and digestion can take energy. With juicing, you're kind of pre-digesting it, and it's all raw, and it's all there. You get rid of the fiber, it's like instantly absorbed. You get all this nutritional bolus of good stuff right into the body very quickly, and the patient doesn't have to expend a lot of energy. For advanced cancer patients, it can be life-saving. You get all this good nutrition in them simply and easily. They repair, rebuild, and fight disease, even cancer. However, they're very heat sensitive. When you heat food, you destroy some of the vitamins like vitamin C, folic acid. Some of the minerals like calcium become less available. But these food enzymes that Howell talked about, above 117 degrees Fahrenheit, are neutralized and it knocks out. He was a big proponent of eating raw foods. But juicing is a good way to get enzymes into a body from the food in the pure form without any damage. So it has a lot of value. It doesn't require a lot of energy. It's all concentrated, and all the enzymes are there because it hadn't been heated. And it's absorbed very quickly, so you get a rapid supply of nutrients into these very sick people.
And what if you're not sick? I mean,
I juice myself. I don't juice as much as my sick patients. I think juicing is valuable for everybody. You're getting nutritional benefit quickly and easily right into the body in a concentrated form. You couldn't ask for anything better.
So in recent times, we've been hearing a lot about vegetarian and vegan diets and how they are the solution to every single health problem we have. If you want to get healthy, just go vegetarian or go vegan, but not so fast, because these studies are often biased and they are not based by controlled or peer-reviewed studies. They think this is what they have to do to avoid cancer, heart disease, high cholesterol, overall other less processed foods. And also this book fails to mention that all indigenous people, all tribes, Indians, Africans, Aborigines, Australians, people who live in Alps, they've been consuming meat products for centuries. And Egyptians, the oldest generations. Our grandparents didn't have heart disease and didn't die at such rates from cancer as people do now. So there is a great diet. And let's say people in China and other remote areas in Mexico, when they introduce like Coke, McDonald's, margarine, vegetable oils, Crisco, chips, all these things, then the problems start to arise.
It's nutritious, and the more you cook something, the less nutrients it has, but raw food can be harder for people to digest as well. So when you cook something down, like you mentioned, do you still have all the nutrient value in those foods?
You do. It's a myth that the raw foods have a higher nutritional content. It's not just, what you're calculating, it's also how well you digest it, assimilate it, absorb it, and use it in your body. So there's those factors, and then there's things like carrots. The value you get from a cooked carrot is way higher than, say, a raw carrot. So we have different options that way. And some people may just choose, if they enjoy salads, to say have that part of their diet raw and some well-cooked things for other health benefits.